Here in Ghana, inflation rate for the month of January has hit its lowest since 2013. The Ghana Statistical Service has attributed the 9% inflation rate to reduction in prices of food and non-food items. The current rate strengthens the Monetary Policy Committee's resolve to further reduce the policy rate in their next meeting. This means cost of credit is expected to be relatively lower. Acting Government Statistician David Combat made the announcement at a press briefing today.
According to the Ghana Statistical Service, the January 2019 inflation rate of 9% is the lowest since January 2013. Acting Government Statistician David Combat explains that the reduction trend is usually experienced during the beginning of every year. He explains further.
And the trend shows that on the whole, there's usually a drop in inflation between December and January, except for for 2015, 2016. And so we're trying to find out what might have accounted for that. That's why we came out with the fact that there was an increase in fuel prices. And we even should, rate you the levels of increases. Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the regions Upper West, Bonahafo, Western, Ashanti recorded inflation rates above the national average of 9%.
The price drivers for the food group rate were coffee, tea and cocoa with a rate of 12.4%, fruits a rate of 10%, meat and meat products with a rate of 9.8%, and mineral water, soft drinks, fruit and vegetable juices with a rate of 9.3%. The Upper West region recorded the highest year-on-year inflation rate of 10.8%, followed by Bonahafo region a rate of 9.9%, while the Upper East region recorded the lowest year-on-year inflation rate of 7.7% in January 2019.
The non-food group, he noted, recorded a year-on-year inflation rate of 9.5% in January 2019 compared to the 9.8% recorded for December 2018. Ebenezer Sabute's reports for Joy Business.
So January inflation rate at 9%, just to re-emphasize a point, is the lowest we've seen since 2013. Joining us on the line is economist Courage Boti. Let's begin from there, Courage, shall we? What does this mean that it has dropped to 9% and that is the lowest we've seen since 2013?
Well, thank you and a very good evening to our listeners. It only means really that the rate at which prices are going up on the market is not increasing as fast as we saw previous years. What this means is the benefits of the monetary tightening that we've seen over the last 3-4 years, the benefits of fiscal responsibility and then prudent fiscal management are beginning to trickle into price stability on the market. Because if government spends so much on the market and then there are no commensurate growth in productivity, the few goods that are produced will be chased by the much money that is pumped into the system. We have seen that there is a synchronization between monetary policy and fiscal policy over at least the last 2 years, where the central bank is holding money aggregates really tight, even though they are easing the monetary policy rate. And then that explains why there is so much complaint there is not money in the system. And then government, on the other hand, has kind of prudently managed fiscal policy to the extent that when there are shortfalls or when revenue doesn't perform, they try to rationalize expenditure so that they stay within their plan and their target for the year. So the combination of those two actually is a big reason why we have seen inflation coming down. What this means is that all other things being equal, the cost of credit should be coming down, and then prices of goods on the market shouldn't be increasing as much as it used to be in the past. But there are other dynamics to it. Cost of credit coming down, much as inflation is a big part of it, is also dependent on other factors. Some of them include the cost of funds for these banks, one, and then, of course, the health of the banking sector on its own. We have realized that even though inflation has come down all the way from 19.2 somewhere in 2016 all the way to 9% as we see it now, cost of credit hasn't reduced as much.
And why is that?
The simple reason is that these banks are choked with a lot of non-performing assets. NPL levels are high. So the capital they're accumulating, you will realize that it's moving more into government securities that they consider more secured, and then more guaranteed than lending to the private sector, lending to individuals that will increase the risk of them not being paid. And we know that non-performing loans has been a big part of, and then poor assets in the banking industry has been a big part of the whole clear-out that has happened, or clean-out that has happened over the last 2 years. So loan book growth hasn't been so good.
Okay.
Reason people are holding on to their funds. And then again, the cost of funds, how the bank deposits and mobilize deposits. The cheapest you can get is maybe your demand deposit, like your savings account typically. But then when the cost of your fixed deposits and then all those other forms of deposits seem to be quite high, the central bank's monetary policy rate is kind of the punitive rate that you can borrow from the lender of last resort. And all of this determines how much the fund you are going to lend out, how much you will lend it out. So if that cost of your credit is not so cheap, you cannot also reduce your interest rate so drastically.
Courage, we are running out of time on this one. Just for 1 minute, I just want to answer this question as we look into the future. Bearing in mind what we are seeing happen with the city at this point, the fact that the city is struggling. Somebody asked me, how are things going to shape up in the future? What do we expect the inflation rate to be?
Well, so for me, the CD, the currency performance so far is the biggest threat to the inflation outlook. Otherwise, we are pointing towards the medium-term target. It is so because we know the sentiment towards emerging markets, dollar supply, and all of that are kind of tight at this time. But for me, there is no real quick fix to the currency situation. We've seen seasonal pressures every first quarter, coming from repatriation of profits, coming from interest payments to foreign offshore bondholders, coming from importers who are settling their letters of credit, and coming from all other sources. Now, the long-term solution will be expanding the productive capacity or the export capacity of this economy through a deliberate approach. I think we have not seen enough of this yet. Look at the number of contracts that are given offshore. So our trade account is in surplus, but our current account is in deficit.
All right.
And that current account is in deficit because a lot of outflows from the economy is choking or consuming the little surpluses we have on our BOP.
Okay.
So a structural change is needed, and it will take time. It's not a quick fix.
All right, Courage Boti, thanks very much indeed for your perspective to all of this. And you heard Courage and I talk about the city. Let's move on because we have a story on the city for you tonight. The CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries is cautioning against speculation to avert further depreciation of the currency. Speaking to Joy Business, Chuma Kwaba reiterated the dire need for government to intervene to prevent the persistent depreciation of the city. Listen.
In recent times, the Ghana cedi has been experiencing some depreciation against major trading currencies on the currency market. Currently, the local currency is trading at approximately 5.2 Ghana cedis to the US dollar. The situation is certainly not pleasing to importers and other stakeholders whose transactions will be negatively affected. But speaking to Joy Business, CEO for the Association of Ghana Industries explained the situation is expected. He, however, cautioned against speculation which could fuel a further depreciation.
End of January to early February, you normally experience this situation. So it's a trend. And it's a trend because around this time, people are paying back the Christmas goods that they bought for Christmas. So the demand for foreign currency is higher, and therefore that puts pressure on the cedi and potentially it makes it depreciate. The other thing is that early part of the year, there are a lot of foreign investors in the country, so they also repatriate their dividends, so pressure again comes on the cedi. So it's a cycle. The problem comes when the rate of the depreciation is higher or faster than the year before or than ever before. That one creates a problem. But if it's a normal range, then that could be reasonably contained. But what we should avoid, even as a media, is to create panic. Because when you do that, then the speculative element becomes very high. A lot of people don't need the dollars. They don't need the foreign currency. Yet when there is panic, they will buy it and hoard it and create and further aggravate the situation.
Mr. Chumakwaba noted government will have to intervene should the currency's decline worsen.
I don't think it's a very grievous situation. Let's monitor though, but of course, Bank of Ghana can also intervene at the right time. When you think that the city is depreciating, relatively faster than normal, then intervene. And they have a way of going about that. Once you intervene in the market, you stabilize things, and then we move on.
For Joy Business, Sheila Tamaklo.
Said Chumakwaba asking government to intervene to stabilize the city. Let's pull up our poll tonight, find out what you're saying about our question for tonight, whether or not you're confident that continuous depreciation of the city can be resolved. And 61% of you do not think it can be resolved. 39% say, yes, it can be resolved. And that's based on 95 votes in the last 1 hour. But on social media, there's a lot of bashing out there against government, especially the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, because of comments he made about the city before coming to power. I want to pull up some of the comments on social media, Twitter to be specific, with the hashtag over to Bawumia. So this person in Dishi says, can we have a schedule for the next Distinguished Speaker Series or EMT meeting for you to tell us or discuss the ways to restore the value of the fallen city? As for the regions, we have voted already, they shall be created. And so you get the sense that people really feel that government's attention should be turned towards fixing the problem with the city. Engineer Paula Futekwese says it's a shame. We were promised oats, but we've been served rough gari without milk. Again, with the hashtag over to you, Bawumia. Let's put up one more comment, then we can wrap up on this one. It says, in one of his utopian statements in 2016, Bawumia claimed that he was going to arrest the dollar, lock it up, and give the key to the IGP. He said this at a time when the rate was only 4 cedis 20 pesos. Today is 5 cedis 30 pesos. So the performance of the city there, getting people concerned and worried. Of course, we'll have more discussions on this subsequently. Let's turn to other news tonight. Chief Research Scientist at the Savannah Agricultural Research Institute, Dr. Roger Canton, has advised the youth to leverage government's Planting for Food and Jobs program as an avenue to generate business ideas. He made the call when participants of the 2019 Cosmos Innovation Challenge visited the institute as part of their market research tour in the northern region. Karen Dodu has the details.
As one of the 13 branches of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, the Savannah Agricultural Research Institute, SARI, has the mandate to provide farmers in the Northern, Upper East and Upper West regions with appropriate technologies to increase their food and fiber crop production based on sustainable production systems which maintain and increase soil fertility. During a visit to the institute by participants of the 2019 Cosmos Innovation Center Agritech Challenge, research fellows at the institute took turns to educate them on various opportunities within the agricultural value chain.
Advising government on key research and science issues.
Chief Research Scientist at SARI, Dr. Roger Canton, noted that government spends hugely on importing some seeds like yellow maize from Brazil and other seeds from neighboring Burkina Faso. He urged the participants to consider seed production as an avenue to not only generate income for them, but also save the country lots of foreign exchange.
But for me, cashing in on this very low-hanging fruit, so-called planting for food and jobs, is so clear into seed production. So one, they can go into seed production, you just register with the Ghana Seed Inspection Department of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Why do you import everything? But if we go into production, we will not look for. People will rather come and pay dollars to us and buy our seeds.
He added that SARI is open to offer any assistance to all interested parties, such as the KIC Agritechies, in terms of research findings to aid in the seed production business.
So they can go in quickly as young men with the knowledge, set up seed companies, and they can even either you start There are so many projects that are helping, and I'm told customers, if you write a good business proposal, they are prepared to help, and we can help to review and support them. So you go in and take crops like soybean or rice or maize, which are the 3 key crops, and sorghum. The government is interested in, and you can grow these crops across the country.
Currently, only about 11% of farmers nationwide use improved certified seeds for production. From Tamale in the Northern region, Karin Dodu for Joy Business.
Now, what could push a mother who has a master's degree, a promotion letter as HR manager, and works in a prestigious firm to leave her job? Her baby, Rashida Osafo, could not leave her 3-month-old daughter with teachers, so she decided to start a breakfast hamper business to make time for her family. Tonight, we bring you our Joy Business Van episode.
You could start Valentine's Day on a romantic mood. Wake up to breakfast in bed, prepared by your husband perhaps. But what if he's a lousy cook? Well, don't worry. You can contact Fresh Dine. The CEO is Rashida Osafo, and she makes breakfast hampers. She started this business after she had delivered a daughter. Leaving her 3-month-old baby for teachers was not an option.
I think we should increase. I even signed on to that petition to increase it to 6 months because it was stressful. When I resumed, I had to go to work, and then I had to leave milk and then breast milk, which wasn't enough sometimes.
With a promotion letter in hand as HR manager and a master's in HR in the other hand, she had to choose between her career and family.
I quit my job because, one, the job was very demanding, and then 2, it didn't pay much. So, waste of time and then small income. And then 2, I had a baby, and then I needed to make more time for myself. So, I even went to school to upgrade myself, and then I had a master's degree in human resource, which I was to go for a promotion in my job. But then, however, after I had my certificate, I realized that working for somebody wasn't helping me. So that's why I had to quit.
Birthday present led to Rashida's breakthrough business.
I came up with different business ideas like liquid soap, selling of perfumes and other items. But then on my birthday, I happened to receive a gift of a breakfast package. And I was like, wow, this seems to be something new in the system. I believe I can do it. So I said, okay, let me give it a try. And that was it.
In a month, she makes not less than 2,000 cedis, which is way higher than a former salary.
Just like this month of love like this, I'm having about 20 orders already for the 14th. And I'm even really, I know it's going to be hectic though, but I know we'll pull through.
We are all set to make waffles, which is usually in the hamper.
We are going to use the waffle maker, which makes it much easier. So here it's a flour. It's a pancake flour at the same time, a waffle like flour for the same purpose. So I just mix the flour. Let's say you have 3 parts of flour, then the water is 3, and then 2.5 parts. The water is a bit less than the flour used because you need the paste to be a bit thicker. Yes, and then after that I add some oil to it so that when I put it into the maker, it wouldn't stick. It will be easier for it to come out. Yes, so when we put it in, it will take like 5 minutes and then it's done.
After delivering breakfast to clients, she then begins helping out with her husband's business. So we asked Rashida what she would call herself managing her business, her husband's business, and the family.
Yes. Mostly when people even ask me, I jokingly say I'm a home development specialist. And then they go like, where from this title? Then I say yes, because I do a lot than somebody who is even working, because I take off a baby, a husband, then I still do my business and I support my husband. So I'm doing everything in a home, and I'm a specialist in it now. Yeah, so.
Would you describe all women as home development specialists?
Yes, I tell them, like, on one of my WhatsApp groups, I don't know, don't say you're a housewife, because you are doing more. Taking care of a home, my sister, it's a whole full-time job. So I said, no, I pride myself in that title, that I'm a home development.
Sandra Sinamapenu on the business team arrives just on time to join us for breakfast.
How Sandra appeared when food was done is a miracle.
Trying to say I'm like someone.
You only appear when food is around.
I know, right?
I mean, trust Sandra, she will not even eat much. Yeah.
So just give me some.
So what do you want?
I'm on diet.
What do you want? Do you want some of this?
Yes, that's okay. Okay. But I don't like.
Rashida will never like to take a new job, no matter what the salary, plus a plea for maternity leave to be extended to 6 months.
All right, a breakfast hamper wouldn't be bad for Valentine's Day, but a box of chocolate would also not be bad. In fact, Valentine's Day is also Chocolate Day here in Ghana, and the idea is that we show love by sharing chocolates amongst ourselves. And guess who is showing us lots of love here at the Multimedia Group? The cocoa processing company. They've done something very splendid. There you see it. Special box of chocolate branded with multimedia. So you've got the various brands over here. That's very beautiful. Cocoa processing company showing us lots of love on Valentine's Day. Now I get to see what's inside there, because I wish I could share with you, but I can't because of the distance. I know you can imagine that. So whilst Fred pulls up our website page, I'm going to try to open this and then enjoy it. So yeah, you can get more of our stories there on myjoyonline.com/business, and maybe purchase some cocoa this Val's Day for a sweetheart. My name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for watching. See you same time tomorrow, and happy Val's Day.